Wow, so look what showed up as if by stealth to my driveway. Man, that's beautiful. Shiny. Oh my gosh. Do you have any idea how long I have it for?
No.
Knobbies! Disc brakes on the back. Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. It's so pretty. Wow, the colors and everything else. Look at that exhaust. Hey, it's Baldy from ADVrider, and I've owned a shiny black Ural for 16 years that I've loved because everyone who sees it lights up in a smile and a wave, whether they're a cop or a hardened badass Harley rider on a custom bike. I don't know, with Baldy in the sidecar, am I as cool as Harrison Ford? Baldy is a heck of a chick magnet. Even Batman came over to get himself photographed in my black Ural. I'm not making that up. I thought shiny black was the coolest of the looks, but once they gave me this to ride for a couple of months, I'm getting even more attention. But how does it ride with the new nitron shocks and fuel injection and disc brakes and all of that? In this episode, I'll take you on some long rides all the way to the Mojave Desert and camping and to the dirt parks. True confession, in 16 years I never took my Ural to the dirt park because I thought it was just too pretty. But I consider it my duty for this review and for you guys to take this one to the dirt and put it through its paces. We'll also visit Mike Paull in Seattle, who customizes the most delicious sidecars and impulse bought a Ural Geo after owning 4 previous models. And finally we'll stop by Ural headquarters and interview Ilya, the CEO, in an electric Ural sidecar. I'll end the episode by answering the question, would I buy one? Would I upgrade from my beloved 2006? So first things first, how does it sound? Well, here's how the engine sounds in my 2006 carbureted version. And here's how it sounds with the 2021 fuel injected version. And here's how my stock exhaust sounds from 2006. And here's how the sexy new GPR exhaust sounds from 2021. That sound out on the road was sufficiently sexy for me. Throaty enough, but not too loud. Perfect. So it's definitely a beauty. Everybody loves the way that it looks. But second things second, what about that lame bench seat? Yeah, it's comfortable, but does it look vintage enough, badass enough? Look at my seat. That's because I got the aftermarket seat, and I think I'd have to do the same if I buy this one. And of course, stopping at a picnic area with a dog in the sidecar meant all the tourists came out with their camera phones. He's figured out how to take these glasses off with that bar. So I was curious about the nitron shocks, which they offer as an accessory on their website. Did they really give a noticeably better ride? I mean, they still only got like 3 inches of travel, right? So I messed around with them in the driveway, just jumping up and down, and they felt about the same, but my wife swears they're so much better, and I actually noticed that too. So we went over speed bumps and bumps on the side of the road, and yeah, they feel nicer. So armed with knobbies and great shocks, off to the dirt park. What could go wrong, right? You better hang on.
I'm watching those guys going over jumps and stuff and saying, I'm glad we're not doing jumps.
Well, maybe little jumps. So with no fear, we charged up a hill that was slanted to the right. So my wife in the sidecar was downhill from me, and downhill from her off the edge of the road was death. So as I'm giving it the gas, I didn't realize it was all about front wheel traction, and I didn't know to stand up and lean forward to give the front wheel more traction. So I just had to back off on the gas to keep the wheel from skidding to the right so that we could creep up that hill. And then when we came back down another hill and it was slanted to the left, every time I'd put on the brakes, the bike wanted to slide off the hill to the left. It was, my heart rate was pretty high. So after that experience, I was afraid I was going to do a Jay Leno like he did when he bought his Ural before he knew what he was doing. But with my wife in the sidecar.
Hey, 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 hey! You okay, Jay?
So one of the great benefits of being involved in Adventure Rider is we have this huge community of expert riders, including a sidecar subforum. So I decided to go in there and meet some of the guys, and Mike Paull caught my attention as someone who really knew their stuff, so we decided to Zoom. And now you're going to be impressed with my backdrop.
I
Look at that.
I should have done the same.
So first off, the Ural Geo is the same drivetrain and chassis and everything as the Gear Up from last year, right?
Yeah, I would say that aside from the extraordinarily difficult to replicate paint job and the bolt-on accessories, the only other major difference is the upgraded suspension with the nitron shock absorbers.
Yeah, so talk about the nitron shocks.
The fundamental problem is that the Urals, designed as a rugged off-road capable sidecar, have relatively short suspension travel, 3 inches total. And I would say that it's less an issue about comfort per se, and more the advantage of a much more controlled ride, flatter in turns, and able to absorb, road irregularities without kind of hobby horsing or porgo sticking the suspension system.
And my previous Ural was a 2006, and I understand somewhere around 2018 or something they went with stiffer or more robust internal springs on the Snowman, the rubber shock absorbers on the sidecar, and so maybe that helped. I tried. I mean, we didn't take big jumps or anything like that, but we got some air, and it got pretty bumpy. And we never bottomed the shocks, and everything seemed to be fine. My wife swears it was a smoother ride than in my black Ural. So with brimming confidence, I took this Geo. I mean, it's got the shocks, it's got disc brakes, it's got fuel injection, it's got knobbies. So what have I got to lose? And I take it out there, and sure enough, everything's going great until we started to go up a steep hill that was slanted to the right.
Under that condition, the front wheel is really unweighted, especially if you accelerate. On an uphill climb, I think the important thing is to, take it in the lowest. Well, take it in the lowest gear, number one. I mean, I hear guys, when in doubt, power out. Okay, so the front wheel is really unloaded.
Yeah.
And you're accelerating, and the sidecar is dead weight, and it's also downhill. So, yeah, I could easily see where the sidecar would, or the whole rig would want to either lift the front wheel, or it would start to slew to the right.
That's what it was doing.
Neither one of which is ideal condition.
That's what it was doing.
Instant death, in my opinion, is doing a cross traverse slope. In the opposite situation where the sidecar is high and above you, it's so easy to flip a sidecar rig under that condition.
That's the way it was coming back down that hill. So my wife was high, I was low, and every time I would touch the brakes, we wanted to plunge off to the left.
The sidecar is, if you're decelerating under that condition, the sidecar, especially with a passenger, is sitting high, so the tip-over point has shifted dramatically toward the rider. So on a cross traverse slope where the sidecar is higher than you, if you were to hit the brakes hard enough, I could see where you could potentially flip the sidecar. So don't do that. With more weight in it, when you approach the tip over point, it wants to flip even easier, right? I mean, that kind of makes sense.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
So it looks like you're geared up for battle.
I am ready for an adventure today.
How far are we going?
Well, my boss told me to take the day off for a mental health day and to do something really fun. So I decided it would be fun if we took a trip through the mountains and back home, 120 miles round trip.
Well, you certainly picked an amazing day to be out here.
It's gorgeous here.
So why do you like the sidecar?
Well, when you ride 2 up, I have to lean one side or the other if I really want to see the scenery. But when it's to a side, I got the view of everything.
So does it bother you that I got the windscreen and you didn't?
No, not really. I didn't expect this much rain today, but one really good thing is that this trunk has a really good seal. Right here.
So at Boulder Creek, with everything still wet, we stopped by a generic gas station, and without thinking about it, I just filled up with regular gas, and off we went. As we were riding through tragically devastated neighborhoods due to the California wildfires, an engine light came on, and the bike started surging and missing.
And then it stalled on the side of the road.
So it's in the category it can't hurt.
No, you're not going to hurt it.
And that's where we got our friend to call this mechanic, and she said, oh, I don't know, try it again. Disconnect the battery, reboot, restart. Anyway, it's running out. It could have been the crazy rain. Who knows?
So let's talk about the fuel injection for a minute.
The throttle bodies themselves are manufactured by the Japanese manufacturer Keihin. And Keihin is they've been around forever. They've supplied both carburetors and fuel injection throttle bodies to virtually every manufacturer in Japan, obviously. and a lot of other makes as well, yes. So that's a very, very good throttle body.
So I saw some YouTube videos about people upgrading their EFIs, their electronic fuel injection, to the most recent key-ins that came out in 2019 on the Urals.
All right, first ride with the new EFI. I mean, it just fires up. Oh, wow. This is different. Oh, yeah, that's like waking it up right there.
So we stopped here, took a quick look at the ocean, and I happened to glance over the side and I said, oh my gosh, there's a dead elephant seal over there. But it wasn't dead, it moved. And there's 4 of them, just lying on the beach.
And everybody's ignoring them.
Yeah.
They're rolling around, having a good time.
We're gonna get something to eat.
I know a lot of motorcyclists who would like this place. All right, here we are on top of the mountain, 100 miles in the cold. How you doing?
Well, it's not as cold as it was earlier today when I was wet.
Did you almost die?
Yes, I almost died.
So how comfortable is that Ural seat after 100 miles?
It's really comfortable.
It's got nice shock absorbing, huh? We've been on rough roads.
We've been on some rough roads. The other interesting thing is there's a bar across the front that's probably for some reason unrelated, but it's a great footrest. So you stretch your feet out there and you can, instead of your feet being kind of flat or awkward, you can rest them on that bar across there. So that's nice.
So did you get the very first one?
That's what they told me at the dealership, yeah.
Wow.
The commercial came out, and I mean, we've all seen it, right? It's a pretty fun commercial.
It's an awesome
They're
commercial, yeah.
But what color? That's it!
Will factory do it?
Can you do it?
A gente está falando das negociações e quando a gente trabalha, junta até o Baldy.
They'll do it.
Everybody waves as if it's a vintage automobile or something. Even the Harley guys wave.
Yeah, I mean they do on any sidecar. I think I had a 2015 retro before I bought my Geo, and I bought it used, and it was kind of like the cheap way to get into a Ural because I hadn't had one before, and hadn't ridden a hack or anything like that. And I bought it to take my dog on rides, and he doesn't get to go because the wife rides in the hack all the time. When I first bought it, she was like, I don't know why you're buying it. I'm never going to ride in it because she's not anti-motorcycle, but she's like somewhat afraid, right? You know how a lot of people are afraid of it. And the first time she rode in it, she's like, okay, I'll ride in it all the time now.
Yeah. Did the new shocks make a difference for you?
Compared to the retro, yeah.
So where do you ride it? Do you take it on long trips or is it for around town?
Mainly around town. We've done a few trips, just, a couple 100 miles. You've ridden sidecars, right? A couple 100 miles on a sidecar is a lot more.
It's a long way.
It's a lot more than a couple 100 miles on a regular motorcycle.
But your arms are working a lot, huh? Speaking of people who compete for space in the sidecar, my friendly neighborhood grandkids. They love to go speed bump jumping in the neighborhood while they hoot and holler and charm all the neighbors.
All right. What kind of adventure?
We're squished, but we're good.
You're squished, but you're good?
Yeah. I'm gonna take off my gloves so I can hold the GoPro.
So, what do you think of Grandpa's new ride?
Nice!
You guys should buy one?
Awesome, yeah!
Here we are to pick up 9-year-old Penny for an overnight camping in the mountains. Penny, I don't know where your stuff's gonna fit. You're gonna have to leave it behind.
I was thinking it would fit right there.
Let's see if the pack will fit down there. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that fits.
More stuff.
You're bringing a girl on this trip, right? You're not bringing Mark with just like a bag of Pop-Tarts. Such a weird thing to be like, yep, go ahead and take our kid without a seatbelt.
How comfortable was the Ural on back roads for 3 hours?
Meh.
Meh?
It was fine.
Did you get it all uncomfortable?
Sometimes they got cold.
Oh yeah. All right, so what I want to know is whose genius idea was sushi?
Mine!
What else you got up your sleeve?
Dehydrated ice cream sandwich.
What? Who's ever heard of that?
Pop-Tarts, oatmeal, cup of noodles, and snacks. It's already like 40-something degrees right now, so if we're going in the wind down a mountain, it's gonna be really, really cold.
Yeah, 42. Was that what you expected?
Not what I expected, but it's fun.
Of course, it's a little wild.
Yeah, it's fun though.
So Harley invited me to their first ride event for the Pan America in the Mojave Desert, 400 miles south of my house, and I decided to go in style. I've never been much of a fan of Urals on freeways, but this one did pretty well. I could keep it at 65, sometimes 70 when I needed to, and I wasn't full open. Sometimes going up hills, it would slow down to 55, 60 maybe. The one thing that was scary was hella high winds came up that knocked over some of the semi-trucks and they closed the road. I was thinking, eesh, I should sit this out, and I slowed way down and I had my butt almost in the sidecar because the winds were coming from the sidecar side, and I just had this eerie feeling like it was gonna lift the chair and knock me over, but it never did.
Welcome to my world. Oh yeah, oh look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh, your world is nothing but toys. This isn't fair.
I've taken a passion, turned it into a boutique hobby business.
Yeah.
With the sole purpose of doing one of the things that I love best and yielding a little bit of profit so I can buy new tools, because tools are everything.
That's so awesome.
What got me into sidecaring was actually a Ural. I own 3 of those, and then I wanted something with a little more power. And to be fair, back in the day, a little more reliability.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love them.
Yeah.
I've owned 5, and this is mine.
Hey, that's some nice decoration you
like
got on
that?
there. Yeah, I do. What'd you do to the headlight?
That's an aftermarket kit for Harley Davidson. Main light, and then the 2, whatever they call the side lights, the auxiliary driving lights that they have. And I wanted to do something a little different and an LED conversion, and this is what I do all day, is play with stuff and modify it and farkle things out. So
what's that handle down there for?
The emergency parking brake that is now supplied on all of them is normally located up here on the handlebar. But it's not a lot of space up here. I want to have room to mount my phone, possibly a GPS. So I relocated it down there on the engine guard.
Yeah, nice. How well does that brake hold?
It works surprisingly well. What's going on is they have a combination hydraulic and electromechanical caliper. So the primary caliper is operated on a hydraulic line, like you would expect, but this is a cable-operated parking brake. And it, so long as you keep it adjusted, which is just like adjusting a throttle in the old days with the screw.
Mine may need adjusting. I notice it drifts a little on hills.
Well, you can adjust it right there, take up slack right at that point, or you can back it off here and do it right at the parking brake handle itself. Pretty
Very
simple.
cool. What else have you done? You put a black rack on the back here?
Yeah, it helps me get on and off the bike. I'm an amputee. It's nice to have a grab handle somewhere back there.
Is that how you got into sidecars? As you became an amputee?
That's correct, yeah.
And you became an amputee in quite an accident in Russia?
There's a long story there that we could go into at some point.
Yeah, there's a good point.
Maybe we're over a beer or 2.
Oh, okay, we'll do that.
Might get a little teary-eyed, so.
Well, that's okay.
And another thing I do is, just because I can, and I've got the stash, is I'm slowly converting all the hardware over to stainless steel or high-strength alloy.
Oh, wow.
1 bolt at a time. I've done that on my previous one. I think it's about 3 pounds of fasteners total.
Oh, wow.
By the time it's said and done, so you can see there's stainless steel on most of it now.
And you added a windshield for the passenger?
Yes. That's right. The Geo doesn't come with one stock, but my wife is a avid sidecarist and navigator.
So, and how did you make this?
That's all stock Ural parts.
Oh, it is. Yeah. So this is an accessory that you buy from Ural?
Many of the standard Gear Up, I believe, and also the CT come with a windshield. The Geo, for some reason, didn't.
I see.
In spite of its astronomical price tag, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I know where to get parts.
It looks like you've done some things to be an amputee and be able to pilot it.
Oh yeah, this is a great little product from my favorite Ural dealership, which is Raceway Services down in Salem, Oregon.
Yeah.
And this is what they call their twin stick shifter. So we've got a tank shifter, which operates on a crossbar to linkage and operates the standard transmission shift shaft, and then below it they have a reversing lever, so that I don't have to use the pedal to reverse as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Kind of just clean things up a little bit.
That's nice. But you still got the Nitron shocks on there?
I do. I wanted to install shocks that I am an importer and dealer for. However, a change was made to what's called the reaction arm for the rear caliper, which interferes with those shocks, but not with the Nitrons. So I'm waiting for some modifications from France before I can install.
And that exhaust?
This is a GPR exhaust for off-road use only. Okay, I've said the disclaimer. It's available as an accessory product on the Gear Up. It came as part of the Geo package, and I was able to work some magic with the people at IMWA and get the ceramic black-coated exhaust system instead of the stainless steel. So
that's nice. So show me some stainless steel fasteners.
Well, we could just start at the front end. I mean, just all the fender holders, headlight. I'm basically doing the small stuff first. You can see here all the accessory racks and stuff, which I installed myself, all stainless steel fasteners. And I just start at the front end and work my way back. As a builder, one of the things that's always disappointed me about American sidecar builders is a client delivers a 100% metric motorcycle, and everything on the sidecar is basically inch SAE, which, you know, tools are available for both. That's not a big deal, but out in the field when you have to repair something, I think it's just, frankly, I think it's rude. Metric fasteners are available. I'm a one-man shop, and I've got metric fasteners.
Whoa, you have got metric fasteners. These are all stainless? Or?
Those are all stainless, yeah. Once you get into the bigger ones, especially for the sidecar chassis and rigging, we switch over to a grade 12.3 blue oxide alloy steel fastener, which is the highest commercially available tensile strength fastener. I had 3 of the earlier carbureted two-wheel drive Gear Ups, and in 2020 I had a 2020 Gear Up, and shortly after going through and modifying it to my wants and desires, I saw the first commercial for the 2021 limited edition Geo, and I said, gotta have it.
Чё, совсем обалдели? Это 3 дня на мотоцикл. Идиоты полные. Отклеить, где ты?
Svetlana said she could only do 20.
Why'd you gotta have it?
I just love the machines. They're very honest. I kind of have a long and storied history with Ural, and now that I'm building sidecars, I can really appreciate them for what they are. They're a very cool machine, and I think they really capture the essence of the whole genre.
So what makes this one so much better than the 2020?
Oh, the paint job. I mean, that's it.
Wow. Ural World Headquarters. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, no soliciting. I wonder if that includes me. Wow. So how did the company come up with the idea for the Ural Geo?
Do you want the real story?
Yeah.
The real story?
The real story.
Well, the guys always wanted to do the bike for off-road that they always wanted to have. They wanted to go all out and just build what they would ride.
Yeah.
That's true. But what color? That was really a question. You want the real story?
I do.
About 6 months before those sessions, I was walking in a store and I saw a completely different looking Snickers. And so one of those sessions, we sat down and we started, not this. We sat down and we were thinking outdoor adventure, off-road, it's got to be camouflage. But camouflage we already have, and it's kind of nothing new. And I thought, what about geometric camouflage? We didn't even think that we'll do a whole video production on it.
Yeah. Oh, the video was genius.
The video was incredible. It was probably, one of the best fun projects that we've done. There was quite a bit of back and forth. It's the ins and outs of the creative process.
Yeah.
It's bloody. The creative process, you bring and then you break and then you build again. Ilya added some of his magic to it. And that's how we came up with the Svetlana line.
Yeah, oh, that Svetlana line is so good.
That's
so
Ilya's
good.
Copyright.
So good. I was going to ask you, how could a production company in America understand, lines like that?
Well, you know how they understand. They bring the script and Ilya says it's shit, and that's where the process starts.
So tell me about the development of the Geo.
It was Madina's idea.
What was Madina's idea?
Yes, she brought up the picture she found, I don't know where, with a paint scheme, and then we built the idea of super adventure bike around this paint scheme, basically.
She said when the promo video was made, which is genius, that you looked at it and said, "Oh, that's shit."
Yes.
And you had an idea for some humor to go in it.
Yeah, the creative agency we hired, they come up with a couple of scripts, and I didn't like it. I told them I don't like it. They got pissed. And then we just went for a walk with Madina. I said, like, we're missing. It's not tied together. We need something which will explain why we did the bike the way it is.
And the idea you came up with was?
To tell the true story. Because it's a very complicated paint scheme, very, very complicated. It takes many, many hours to make it, and factory agreed to do it, but they said, guys, we need to limit it because we can't spend hours and hours and hours on this bike. So this is how Svetlana came to play in this video.
So Svetlana is a real character in the factory?
Yes, the lady which does all these complicated paint schemes. Because it's 4-layer paint, every layer is masked, painted, masked, painted. So she does masking by hand. So her name is Svetlana.
But it's a shame you're only making 20 of them. Couldn't you sell more?
We could have.
But Svetlana would say no?
But Svetlana said no. We got like 100-something requests hour after we launched it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They were sold like...
When you go to Russia, can't you say, hey, Svetlana, we got hundreds of requests. Maybe we should do some more?
I'll talk to her. I'll see her next Thursday.
So here we are, CEO of Ural, in an electric sidecar. Where else do you get to see this?
Nowhere.
So, but you're not producing the electric ones, right?
No, it's one and only.
But is it a never say never thing? Because
it's never say never, yes.
Someday, maybe we get electric ones, because I really like this. I thought I would like gas a lot. But it's so quiet, and you can talk back and forth, and no clutch, no gears. My family would love this.
We actually have a list of, it's already probably 2,000 people, maybe more, like a wait list.
Oh, really?
Yes, when we
Interesting.
Announced that we built this prototype, we posted a wait list so people could leave their names. So I haven't looked at it recently, but last time I looked, it was probably a little bit more than 2,000 people.
Wow, that's crazy.
But this is not nearest future, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's more expensive to produce?
Yes.
So after almost 6 months, a trucker came and picked up my beloved press loaner. And I can't believe how much I miss it. I asked Ilya, what's the demographic of a Ural owner? And he said,
the major thing is that it's a little bit off-center person.
I see. Like me.
Like you or Mike or all other customers.
Hi, Mike. As Madina gave me the shop tour, I asked why she'd stuck with Ural for more than 20 years. She didn't have a microphone on, but I think you can make out what she says.
Well, when you ask why I kept going, this is why. It makes people happy.
And that's why I missed the Geo, because it made so many people happy. The neighbors a couple of houses down had a party the other night, and at the end of the party they said, hey, let's all go over to Chris's house and see his motorcycle. And so old ladies piled into the sidecar and on the back, and we went to the part of the neighborhood with the speed bumps and we jumped them and they laughed and hollered. So the big question, would I buy one? Would I upgrade from my beloved 2006? And I think you know the answer. It's absolutely, as long as my wife, the Countess of Cash, says it doesn't pinch the bank account too much. But unfortunately, they're sold out. So I sent an email to Madina saying, what happens to used press bikes? Do they ever get sold used? Thanks for watching that whole long saga. If you made it this far, you must be, what would Ilya say?
You have to be off-centered.
A little bit crazy.
Yes.
I hope you'll give it a like and subscribe and join our forum. Let's hear what you have to say. Comment on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching.